They called him the Bus-Pass Bandit, an old man with a walking stick and a bus ticket who turned out to be one of the most unlikely armed robbers in British history. He did not rob banks in a mask or run from the police in cars. He just took the bus. Charles Curzon was not your average criminal. By the time the police caught up with him, he was in his late 60s, looked harmless, and even had a friendly smile that fooled everyone. But behind that gentle face was a man who planned robberies with the kind of patience only old age could give you. This is not some gangster movie from the 1930s. It is a real story about a man who used free travel and quiet charm to pull off a string of robberies that shocked the police. So how does someone like Charles Curzon, an old man living off his pension, turn into one of the most talked about armed robbers? It all started in 1918, when Curzon was born in the Midlands, England. He grew up in poverty, served time in the army, and spent his younger years doing small-time scams. But by the 1980s, things had changed. He was older, slower, and broke. The world had moved on, but Charles had not. He was desperate, and desperate men do strange things. Curzon's plan was genius in its simplicity. He would dress like any other pensioner, flat cap, worn jacket, even a walking stick. Then he would board a city bus using his senior pass, travel for free, and pick a target. Usually small betting shops or post offices. He would walk in, pull out a gun, sometimes fake, sometimes real, and demand the cash. The staff never suspected a thing until it was too late. After grabbing the money, he would calmly walk back to the nearest bus stop and ride off, blending perfectly into the crowd of old folks heading home. The police had no clue who they were looking for. Witnesses kept describing an old man who looked like someone's granddad. There were no high-speed, flashy getaways, just an aging man vanishing into the public transport system. And it worked. For a while, Curzon pulled off several robberies this way, earning him that strange nickname from the tabloids, the Bus-Pass Bandit. But his downfall came from the same thing that made him invisible. His routine. He kept using the same routes, the same shops, the same quiet approach. Eventually, detectives started putting the pieces together. In 1989, police finally caught him after tracing his bus routes and matching CCTV footage. When they arrested him, he did not resist. He just sighed and said, "Well, I suppose that's that." In court, people could not believe what they were seeing. A frail old man standing trial for armed robbery. The judge called him a criminal who used age as his disguise. He was sentenced to several years in prison. And the strangest part, even behind bars, Charles Curzon was something of a legend. God said he was polite, quiet, and even helped other inmates write letters home. When he was released, he disappeared from public record. No one knows exactly when or where he died. Some say he just faded away, like a ghost that rode off on one last bus. His story is not about violence or greed. It is about how far someone will go when the world forgets about them. A man too old to run, too smart to get caught for years, and too proud to beg. The Bus-Pass Bandit reminds us that sometimes the most unexpected people hide the darkest stories. Subscribe to Sinister Footnotes for more dark history.